So you want to start a business, but you don't know how you're going to get your first customers. Well, you're in luck because in this video, I'm going to give you the secret of securing your first customers for your product or service-based business. What's up, CEOs? It's Coach Nick, founder of Nicholas Marquis Coaching and from Passion to Profit Launch Experience, where we help entrepreneurs launch, grow, and scale their ideas into profitable businesses so they can enjoy the ultimate freedom of time, energy, and money. Comment below if you've ever asked that question. How can I secure my first customer? So a lot of times when I start working with new entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, the question is this going to work? Listen, I'm trying to leave this 9 to 5. I'm trying to build generational wealth, but the first step is how am I going to get my first couple of customers? And so I just did a training on how to launch a business in 90 days or less from scratch using the resources you have. And I go over this specific strategy in detail. So if you want access to that training replay, we'll put the link in the description and you can get access to it. But when we are thinking about your first customer, right? Like I don't have money for marketing. I don't know much about sales. The first thing that you need to know is that you already have access to your ideal customer in your network. It's what I call the circle of network, and I'm going to walk you through how to leverage and tap into yours. So when we think about our network, right, there are people in your network who already either wants or needs your product or service, or they know someone who wants or needs your product or services. So let me break this down. In the circle of network, in the core of the circle, you have what's called your ambassadors. Now, for me, when I was starting my event business, my ambassadors were my close friends and family, right? And so these are people who, if it made sense for them to buy from me, they would. But if it didn't make sense for me to buy for them to buy from me, then they would allow me to leverage their circle of network to find my ideal customers, right? So that's the first two rings. So that's going to be your core, right? Those are called your ambassadors. Then you have the outer rings of the circle of network, which is your warm audience. Here's the thing, we are all known for something, right? Now, what you're known for with your friends or your Facebook followers or your network of people is whatever you've been representing. But it's not too late to go ahead and transition that and start to build your brand around whatever it is that you're looking to sell. And so your warm audience are going to be people who will either buy from you if it makes sense, if they need or want your product or service, but they will also help you build. So they'll help repost content, and your ambassadors will do that too, but they'll repost content. You'll have them follow you on your business page. They'll repost things to help spread the word about your business. And so for me, when I was first starting my business, my warm audience were my previous coworkers and my social media following, right? So those were networks that I could leverage that, I could say,
hey, I'm starting a blog, sign up for my email list, or hey, starting to do business coaching, follow me on my business coaching page. And
they would follow. That's how I start to build an audience and how I started to get the word out about my business. So let me tell you how I leverage this. And again, I go into detail about this in my free training link below on how I planned my first $10,000 launch. So to make a long story short, I teach and coach on when you are first starting your business, you have to use what you have to get to where you want. And that's either creating a minimum viable product or an offer to serve. And so when I was starting my event business, how I broke into the industry, I offered final stretch planning services to my circle of network. So that was my warm audience. Again, that was an organization I'm associated with, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And I stood up in a frat meeting and said, hey, I'm new to the area. I have an event business. I'm looking for 3 people to offer my services for free of charge. Now, the reason I said free of charge was because I needed opportunity. I needed to break into the market when I moved to Atlanta to get out there and just have the opportunity to serve. And I believed that that would place me in alignment with my ideal customer. And that's exactly what happened. To make a long story short, I gave my offer to serve to my boss at the time. Again, that was one of my coworkers. That's one of my warm audience. And I planned his granddaughter's birthday party. And that landed me 2 paid clients to plan their birthday party, right? And that landed me 2 paid clients. Also offered it to another coworker, and I planned her launch and brunch to launch her business. And that also landed me a destination birthday party as well as a recurring contract with her. So that alone landed me $2,500 in contracts and cash on hand at the end of those events. Then I offered the third offer to serve to my frat brother. Got up in a fraternity meeting and said, hey, I'm looking to offer those free services, right? That frat brother was a part of a nonprofit organization. I went to plan their event for free, and that got me an opportunity to work alongside the executive director who was planning their event. Now, what did that do? That allowed me to understand her pains, her wants and needs, and her biggest pain point was because she was executing an event, everybody was pulling on her. She could not really build relationship and connect with donors and sponsors and the members of the organization. And so once I finished that event, let's wait till this passes. There's literally, it's like every time I get ready to film, a fire truck or police car is going by. Okay, so what opportunity that ended up providing was not only did they contract me to do the same event the next year and paid me for it, but they also contracted me to do their major events. So I planned their walk and their gala. Also, they introduced me to the board members, which the chairman contracted me to do work for their law firm. And that's literally how I went from no clients, no revenue, no clue, to working with some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies like Coca-Cola, BET, and Delta Airlines, all because of my circle of network. It wasn't marketing, it wasn't advertising, it was me leveraging my circle of network. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to place in the comments 4 things, and really do this, okay? Place in the comments, who are your 2 circle of network when you think about your ambassadors, who are your 2 rings of ambassadors, and then who is your warm audience? And how can you leverage that to offer something that's going to help take your business to the next level? And again, if you need even more help in implementing that and really understanding how this strategy works, how it's been working for my clients and helping them get to their 10, 20, 50K launches and growing 6-figure businesses and leaving their jobs, listen, click the link in the description and take the training, because I go over case studies and how people have used this. All right, if you've gotten value out of this video, make sure you click like and subscribe, because I drop videos like this every week. And leave in the comments, what was your biggest takeaway and what's the next step you're going to take in your business to push it to the next level. Entrepreneurs go through 3 key stages in their business, in their entrepreneur journey, right? The first stage is launch. All right, we just want to validate our product or service, get it out to market, see if it even works, and start generating just some revenue. We don't care what, just some revenue, right? And then after the launch stage, now you enter what we call growth. All right, and in this phase and in this stage, we're looking for consistency, right? So how do we move from a $10,000 launch to having consistent $10,000 or more months, right? After the growth stage, then you are looking to scale. How do we get our product or service out to more people? How do we serve more people? How do we build a team? How do we make a predictable sales strategy and customer attraction system? And so my name's Nicholas Marquis, Coach Nick to some, and I help entrepreneurs just like you, no matter at which stage you're in, launch, grow, and scale their ideas into profitable businesses. Most entrepreneurs try to do this alone, right? And try to figure it out. We're on Google, we're asking our friends who's never started a business before, and you are going to be different. Because what I want you to do is, in this description, there is a link where you can book a call with me and my team. No matter where you are in your entrepreneur journey, we can support you. Did you like that episode? Not only do I want you to click like and subscribe, but I want you to binge watch the next episode right here.